Guys, and welcome to our continuation of Docker. Today we are going to be looking at Docker Compose. This is Docker Compose. This is what we are going to be looking at today. The story behind Docker Compose comes with the story behind running commands. When we run commands, we keep running commands when we are creating architecture. Like for instance, I asked you guys to create the architecture of CI/CD and the LAMP architecture. And when I ask you to create that type of an architecture, what do? You write the first command, docker run -- name blah 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 blah. You write a very long line of code that is to create only maybe the database. After that, the database is created, you write again another long line of code to create maybe the server, and then after you write another long line of code to create the client. The question you should be asking is there no better way of doing this thing and just clicking one button and all the various commands that you have written to run? Because you people keep saying that DevOps is all about automation, and we keep running different commands. But somebody can make an error, right? You can make an error while running so many hyphen commands. You make an error. So can there not be a way by which I know that I have to run these 5 containers, but I need to run 5 different commands? Why is it that I cannot carry all those 5 commands and place in something and then just run all of them at once? Well, thank God for you. That is where Docker Compose come in. That is where Docker Compose come in. So what is Docker Compose? Docker Compose Docker Compose is a network. Docker Compose is a network. Now, when you create a container in Docker like this, when you create a container in Docker and you create another container like this, there have to be a link between the 2 containers. Now, Docker Compose is a network in such a way that you discover that if you have to create these 2 containers and link them with hyphen link as we are doing, you must first of all do what? You must first of all create container 1, and then when you are creating container 2, before you link container 1 to container 2. Is that true? Very true. You have to create container 1, and then when you are creating container 2, before you link to container 1. Question: what if container 1 is already existing? I have created container 1 without linking container 2, and then I want to come now and create container 2 and link that container 2 to container 1. What will happen? You see where hyphen link is already having a problem. In hyphen link, it is showing that you must know that you have to link this container to this container before you start creating, so that when you while creating the second one, you link to the first one. Now, if I create the first one and I create the second one, and I discover that I needed to link the 2 of them, while creating the second one I did not link, how can I now establish this link between the 2 containers? I have created 2 containers that are existing like this. They are existing. I don't know how to link them, but I wanted to link them. With hyphen link, you are already, this is already a shortcoming, very big shortcoming, right? And then hyphen link, you will not be able to create as many containers as possible. Just see as I told you guys to create and link 3 containers like that, and it became a problem that you don't understand how to link 3 containers together. What if I say now create and link 4 containers? I add the 4th container. And what if I add the 5th container? What if I keep adding containers? That means that very particular hyphen link command that you are going to write is going to fill the whole screen, right? So there must be a way by which we are able to link containers together, which is not hyphen link. So that way is Docker Compose. Okay, Docker Compose is a file. What happens with Docker Compose? It is a file. We have a file that we are going to create. We create a file like this, and then we are going to write a code inside that file. We are going to write a code. And which language are we going to be writing this code? We are going to write a code in a particular language. Is it English or French? We are going to write this code in a language called
Java.
YAML. What is the full meaning of YAML? Yes, Ryan.
I think it's yet another markup language.
Yet another markup language. So it is a markup language, not actually a coding language, right? So you find the difference between a markup language and a coding language, right? For programmers, you will know the meaning of a markup language and you know the meaning of a coding language. What is another markup language that we can know? JSON, right? JSON is another markup language. So in effect, what is a markup language? That is what we need to understand. What is a markup language? Now, a programming language is a language that writes a product from nothing to something. I want a logic of an application that can process to me the marks of my students and make report cards automatically. That one, you need a programming language. You need either Java, you need either Python, you need either Node.js in order to write that type of an application. Now, but when you finish writing that application, you need to be configuring things inside that application, maybe automatically. There are so many things that you have to be configuring from time to time within that application. Now, you don't need the programming language itself, you will need a markup language. And what are markup languages? You have bash scripting, you have shell scripting, you have YAML, you have JSON, you have those small markup languages. These are languages to do additional configuration, languages to do automation, languages to do you just add functionalities. Okay, that is markup language. So we are going to be writing this code in YAML. As your assignment, find everything about YAML, every characteristics of YAML. What is YAML? How does it work? How does it function? I have not said go and start learning YAML. You are going to be learning YAML while doing it, because you don't have time to go and start spending that you are studying YAML. No, we are going to be learning YAML while doing it. I think the YAML is not difficult. All you need to know is number one, YAML. Yes, let me take Roberto first. Yes, Roberto.
No, sorry, it's a mistake.
Okay, Declan.
Oh, okay. So you say it is not a coding language, right?
It is not a programming language. Of course, it is a coding language.
Programming language. That means like I was driving towards like asking a question like I don't know if it's okay or not. Like having a particular syntax, a particular set of rules it follows, different from Python and the rest.
Of course, YAML has its own. It is another language. It is a language on its own, but it is very human readable. In Python,
Okay.
you will know that a vertical V will mean greater than, and maybe an exclamation sign will mean this, right? That is in Python. But in YAML, all those things are explicitly written in human language. Python is more of human nature than YAML is more of human nature more than Python. We know Python is more of human nature more than other languages, but YAML is very closer to the human more than Python.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So we are going to write a file in YAML, and when we write that file in YAML, we are going to ask Docker to execute that file. Okay? So which type of file are we going to write in YAML? That is what we are going to see. Let us first of all give ourselves a task, right? Let us give ourselves a task. What is the task that we are giving ourselves? Let us give ourselves the task that number one, we want to one, create a database. Create a database, right? Two, create a server application. Three, create a client interface. That's the web app. Let's say client web. This is a task that we are giving ourselves, and we want to, while creating all these things, we want to link database to server and server to web and data. This is what we want to do. We want to create a database, create a server, create a client web, link DB to server and web and DB, right? That means we are going to link this DB to the server. Server is linked to the web and server is linked to DB. Web is linked to DB and web is linked to server, right? DB is linked to all of them. Okay, that is what we want to do. So in order to do all these, what do we do? First of all, we said it is a markup language. Where are we going to be writing the application? Where are we going to be writing all these things? For me, what I do generally is that first of all, I write it in any text editor. You can open your notepad and you start writing the commands. You can open your notepad generally and start writing the command, but as we know, notepad is not really color sensitive. It does not make the thing beautiful. Like for example, if I open a notepad here, if I open a notepad and I start writing all my commands, like this and that, it is not sensitive. Notepad is not sensitive. It is just there like that, right? So I don't always like notepad, so I used notepad plus. Okay, I use notepad plus. This is notepad plus. Here it is in my system. So you install notepad plus. I advise you to, because it is good. So I've opened a file, a new file, right? I've opened a new file, and remember our task. What do we want to do? We want to create a database, create a server. So we always start from creating our database. That is where we always begin, creating our database. The first thing that we are going to do is we come over to our notepad. The first thing in a Docker Compose file, is that you write the version of your Docker Compose, right? The version is, the most version that you will always be using is version 3, right? You write the version of your Docker Compose file, of which the most version you will likely be using is version 3. Of course, they will always have to ask you to begin with 1, 2, 3 slashes. Those are the entry points. Okay, write a version 3. Then the next thing is, what do you want to do with this file? I want to install services. So I talk about services, right? I talk about this, those are what I want to install. And what are the services that you want to install? The first thing I would like to tell you is that Notepad is highly, YAML is highly indented sensitive. Your indentation has to be well crafted. So I want to install services. So the parent is a service. How do you know a parent? A parent in programming is generally any block that starts from the touch line. Any block that starts from the touch line is the parent block. So if I want to put the child block now, I have to indent, right? I push it one step inner. Then I want to install my DB. That is the name I'm giving to my database. So in order to make this thing very sweet, I first of all have to save it. And while saving in Notepad, I have to give the name Docker Compose. If I don't give the name Docker Compose, I'll enter Wahala. Docker Compose dot YAML. That is where now YAML recognizes your file. Docker Compose dot YAML. Okay, I save the file in my desktop normally. Good. You see when I save the file now, you see how this nyangaristic thing starts coming out, right? When you save the file now, the file starts being sensitive. Okay. The first service I want to create is a service called MyDB. I'm the one giving this name. I am the one choosing the name. I can decide to name my service anything. So I am naming my container that I want to run. The container will be named MyDB. So this container that I want to run MyDB, it is going to come but from what type of an image, right? The container is coming from which image? I said the container is coming from the image. It is coming from the image MySQL -5, right? If the container is coming from the image MySQL -5, then MySQL is a database, so MySQL must have environmental variables, right? So I have to do environmental variables, right? The environment should be, when I'm writing the environment, I take care with the indentation, because the environment is on the environment variable is under environment. Okay, and both environment and image are under the container MyDB. All right, so here I write now, I know the environment variable for MySQL underscore root underscore password, right? And then I give my password, right? That is I finished with the MyDB. Now let's look at it very well. What have I done here? I've just said install a container called database MyDB. That is a container called MyDB. You are going to take that container from the image MySQL, and that image MySQL needs environmental variables, and here are the environmental variables. The environmental variable is root password, and the password is 1U, right? I've already given my SQL is going to already create. Now I skip one line, I go back again to parent mode. In parent mode, I start another application, but this time in the same line as the MyDB, because My DB container and the Apache container that I want to install now, all of them have the same strength, right? Apache is independent of itself. MyDB is independent of itself. So the two of them have the same strength, but all of them are under the services, right? Good. I'll start the next one. What is the next container that I want to name? I want to name the container Apache, right? And in the Apache container that I want to name, what is the image that is going to give me that container Apache? The image is going to be Tommy, right? Now, after the image Tommy, I know that Tommy is an image that we can use to access several other containers. So it must have a port. So under Tommy, I said there will be ports, right? There will be ports in this container. So it asks me now that, okay, which port am I having in the container? I say I'm going to give port 6060 to that container. Yes, you are going to give port 6060, but what is the original port of the container? The original port of the container is 8080, right? Now, okay, this container, is it going to run alone, or is the container having any link? I say I want to link the container, so I'm going to create links for the container. And as I'm going to create links for the container, I should define the links, right? The first link that I'm going to create is the linking of the container to what? To my DB. This name here must match with this name here. The name here must match with the name here. That is the link container, and the name that I'm going to give to that link is, I can give my SQL. That is the link name, right? I've finished there. Everything is completed there. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to create the next container, which is the PHP container. PHP container. That is the container that I want to create. And the container is coming from what image? The container is coming from the image PHP. That's the name of the image, right? PHP. I'm naming the container the same as the image, right? The container certainly should have links, right? I give the link to the container. Is the container having ports? Is PHP having ports?
No, sir.
Good. So the links that I'm giving to PHP, how many links am I going to give to PHP? I indent. How many links am I giving to PHP? One link to PHP. I'm linking
I
PHP.
think so.
No.
No. Two, sir.
Good. What are the links? Linking to which containers?
So my DB.
Yes, I give the first link to my DB and I call it the same name, my SQL link. And then the second link I give to the Tomcat, right?
Tomcat, sir.
I give it to Apache. And I call the name Tomcat. That's a Tomcat link. Now, it is always good practice to give this name, the link name, as the container you are linking to. So that when you are in PHP and you want to see this link name, you will see that Tomcat. That means they are linking to Tomcat. Okay? When you are in PHP, you will see that the name of this link is Tomcat. That means PHP is linking to Tomcat. When you are in PHP, you will see the name of MySQL. That means PHP is linking to MySQL. Okay? Alright, we have finished. When we finish, what next? We have completed our we have completed our task. Okay, after we complete our task, we give 3 dots. Our task is completed. We can now save our file. Good, our file is saved. This is our YAML file. This is our YAML file. We have just coded a YAML file, which the difference now is we can execute this YAML file and then we come back again, edit the YAML file, execute again, come back, edit it as many times as we want and keep executing. But with hyphen link, if you execute and it fails, you will need to start typing the command again and you will not know. And then if you work and you go and another programmer comes and you are executing in hyphen link, that new programmer will not know anything that you are doing. But if you are working with your YAML file, the files will be there. When the new programmer will come, he will just read the file and then know what you are struggling to do. So that is the importance of the YAML. Okay, this is a great importance of the YAML. Yes, Declan. Declan, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. I have 2 questions to ask.
Yes.
I would like to start from what you have done there. You started by giving -3 hyphens there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then when closing, you gave 3 dots.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Mm-hmm.
but when you look at the indentation, it's like the 3 dots are advanced, are inside more than the 3 hyphens. Why is it? Okay, yes.
That's how they should be.
Okay, yes. That's my worry there. And then for YAML and hyphen link, that means in a real job situation, are we advised to be using more of this?
They don't even use hyphen link in real industry situation. They don't use hyphen link.
Okay, the hyphen link was to make us understand a situation whereby to know that this one is a little bit advanced and okay, this is how to do things.
No, the hyphen link is to make you know that they need to link containers. You can have a situation where you need to just test 2 containers on your own from the outside.
Yes.
You just run some 2 containers and you link them from your own on the outside. You don't need to be writing a Docker file to test 2 containers linking together, right? Whether you don't need to write a whole YAML file to test 2 containers linking together. It doesn't make sense.
That is, if you are doing some sort of testing or practicing something that is not huge, you can use hyphen link.
Yes, you can use hyphen link when you know that thing will not actually stay.
Okay.
You are just testing something that will not stay, something that you just want to test and see the functionality. You can use hyphen link. But if it is something that is going to run and be documented, there's a part of software called documentation, right? And people do that for specialty. Have you ever heard about Scrum management, Scrum administrator?
Not really, sir.
They call it Scrum master. They call it Scrum master. That is better for girls who are indulging into IT. It is the program. They call it project management of IT. Scrum master. So yes, you when all these things are done, they are well documented and traced, and a technical file is removed, which means a real engineer comes and take that technical file and opens it. He will see everything and where the links are happening and how everything is communicating with each other. You get it? So you should not do anything which will last but will have no supporting background. Okay. All right, we have finished our YAML. Question is, yes, we have finished our YAML. How do we execute this YAML? Okay. We saved our YAML in the desktop. There is one way we can do to execute this YAML. Let us finish. We have already finished with our YAML. So there is one thing we can do to execute our YAML. We can go to our system and navigate to the desktop. We can navigate to the desktop, right? And we go to, technically there must be a D folder here. Yes. And then we go to cdc. Our desktop should be found here. ls. Okay. Here, in order to be able to enter our desktop, we have to go to users and ls. This is Windows Windows management now, right? And then you have to go to, I think, ls there. Now you have to go to desktop. This is it, right? This is it here. Desktop. Your ls there. Now we can see our folder that we created, docker compose.yaml. This is where you have to run the command to execute your docker compose, but it is found in the mount folder because my computer is considered a mounted device to my Linux computer, right? So the best thing I would like to do is I want to copy this file and bring it to my Linux system, inside my Linux file management. That's where I would like to copy this file and bring it to, so that I should not be working from the outside. You see that we are right into outside in the desktop. It doesn't make sense. So I would like to use cp, and then I copy you, right? I copy you to I think it is the home directory. If it is not home directory, then it must be user directory. Let's run this one. Cannot create home directory, permission denied. Okay. We run the file again. I'm sure they wanted that we should run sudo. Sudo okay. Now we are certain that this command, I hope you understand this command, please. I'm copying this. I think we did Linux. I'm copying the docker compose file from here to here, right? So I can run now my cd here. Where is my docker compose file? It is in home. Let's go to home and see whether it is there. That is my docker compose file in home, right? It is in home. This is it, docker compose file. So I am in home, and here is my docker compose file, right? Now here in home, here's the clan.
If I'm understanding the command very well. right up to up where you wrote CZ1U. I did not quite get it.
From here,
Yes, sir.
and you allowed me to be going to the end decline.
I never wanted to interrupt at that level.
Here, you understand what I did here? From the beginning, wait,
Mm,
from the beginning, do you understand what I did from line number 1?
the first command, not really, sir. The first command, not understood.
I ran this the command cd /mnt, right?
Yes,
cd
sir.
/mnt. This cd /mnt means it's like you insert a USB key inside your computer. You have to go and click on the USB key, right? The USB key is mounted to your computer. Is that?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, in Linux, when you insert a USB key in your Linux system, in order to go to that USB key, you are going to CD and then you mount. You go to mount. These are mounted devices. Okay, these are mounted
Okay, sir.
devices. So now, question is, why am I using a mounted device in the computer? So where is the mounted device? Have I put any USB key? The answer is
No.
my computer, my external computer, my laptop is considered a mounted device to my Linux system. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
My computer is considered a mounted device to my Linux system. Now, when I run the mount, you see that I see now my C drive here. Are you seeing? I run ls here. And then I saw my C
Yes, sir.
drive here. I saw my D drive here. In my computer is made up of C drive and D drive, right? If I come here
Yes,
and I open my computer, the two main drives that I have in my computer are the C drives and the D drive. These are the two drives, the C drives and the D drives. Everything is found inside these two drives, right?
okay.
So inside here, I am seeing those two drives, the C drives and the D drives. Now, where is my target? Where is my target? I want to go to desktop. This is how I move. I want to go to desktop. This is how I move. If I want to go to desktop, I am here. I want to go to desktop because we are here like this. We want to go to desktop. I'm going to pass through C to go to desktop, right? Since
Yes, sir.
here, I can click desktop here because it is a shortcut in Windows. Okay, but here we do not have
Yes,
that
sir.
shortcut. Okay, I have to go to desktop. I have to enter the C folder. When I enter the C
Yes, sir.
folder, I enter users. When I enter users, I take the name of the computer, and then I will see desktop. Right? That is the same thing that we
Oh,
did here. We entered
okay.
the C drive. We ran ls there. Okay, when we ran ls there,
Yes,
we saw my name there. That is the name
yes,
of the
sir.
computer, and then we entered cd into the name of the computer, and then we saw
Okay.
desktop there, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
we cd into the desktop, right? And then in the desktop
Yes, sir.
now we saw our docker compose file.
Well understood, sir.
Well understood, right? And then now
Yes, sir.
we want to copy. You see that we went through a long way just to come and see this docker compose file, but we don't want that each time we want to execute this file we have to go through all this pathway, right? We just want that the docker compose
Yes,
file
sir.
should be inside the Linux system. All right, so there now we copy the docker compose file the from the desktop, and we send it to the home directory in the Linux system. Okay, when we send it now to the home
Yes,
directory
sir.
to the Linux system, we come back now to our home directory in our Linux system. Now that is where we are, in our home directory in the Linux system, where when we run ls now, we see the file is there. Is that clear?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Thank you.
and then here now, we continue our class. Here now, we need to execute this file. We have to execute this file so that everything should run. Let us first of all run docker container ls to see if there is any container running in our system. No container is running in our system. So we want to execute our YAML container. To execute this container, you run docker hyphen compose dot YAML up hyphen z. Can we understand this command? I want to run the file docker compose dot YAML. I'm running that file docker compose dot YAML. The attribute up means run the file, okay, and then run in detached mode. Okay, so all I have to do is enter. So what is our expectation? Our expectation is that the command should run. Now they are telling us that docker compose not found, command not found. The reason they are telling us the command not found should be because we are running in the home directory. So let us run in the user directory, because that is where docker was installed. So I copy. Let us see something. If we want to say we print working directory, we are in the home directory. So from the home directory, can we move to the user directory? Oh, okay, from the home directory we can move to the user directory. We are now in the user directory. So to copy this file, we first of all have to move to the home directory. If we say print working directory here, you see that we are in the user directory. So let's go back to the home directory and print the file and copy the file and bring to home directory. We should use sudo we are copying this file we are copying it to /home/user. Now let us go to user now. We are now in user, and then we run ls there. We can see our file is there in user, right? So then now we run our command and we think, or we are expecting now that it should run. Docker compose dot YAML up -d. Our command still not yet found. Let me verify. What's the name of our container? Docker compose. Let's run docker compose Our Docker Compose is there. Build Ubuntu. Very okay. Our Docker Compose should run. Yes, Mr. Edwin.
Yes, so when you started the Docker Compose file, you wrote version 3, but now it gives us version 1.29.2. Is there no any issue with that?
The Docker, the with respect to the version installed
Yes.
in my computer.
Yes, so when we started to come out with the Docker Compose file, we started at first with a version. You said it should be version 3.
Yes.
But now when you do Docker Compose hyphen version, it gives us version 1. It's very small. I cannot see clearly. So is that not a mix-up, or it's okay like that, sir?
No, the version that you are writing is the YAML version of
Okay.
compilation.
Okay, sir. Okay.
It is a
Not the
YAML.
Docker version.
Yeah, it is a YAML version of your compilation and not the YAML version. So
Okay.
what we are going to do is let us create the file directly inside Docker nano docker compose dot yaml. Okay, I see where we have a problem. We have a problem here. Okay. We don't need the separation for now. Okay. So I have to rewrite the folder directly in the Linux system. So let me remove the folder. The file, not the folder. Okay, I want to create the folder myself here. Docker compose.yaml. Now what we are going to do is we copy our code from here and we make sure that there is no issue. At the position of Apache, we had an issue. But that was not what was causing the problem. But let us check our because if we have this name wrongly, technically this link will not work. You get the point. So we have to correct that. and save. Then copy it. Now we'll come to our editor and we paste. Now let me go through. I think everything is well spelled. Environment, MySQL root password. It is always best to copy these things when you are typing. If you are not careful, you are going to make errors. So we save. Okay, let's run ls and see what is there. Our docker compose file is there now. Let's run docker compose dot YAML hyphen up hyphen z. Docker compose found, not found. There should be an error. Let me check out what is happening, please. I'm working in the background, don't mind, because the screen will be stable. And show force. Technical lines. Show font. Okay. This one is docker compose up hyphen d. Okay, so guys, the issue is that you are not supposed to include your YAML in it. Okay, you are not supposed to include your YAML in it. So you just run your docker compose up hyphen z. It will execute for you. So our applications are being executed. You see, the creation is going on in the background. It is creating my database. After it will create my database, it will create my PHP. After I create my PHP, it will create my Tomcat, just like that. And you are just sitting and looking. Is this not a better way? Yes, Declan.
So that means you could have still run the command without creating the folder, the folder you just created. Because you realize that when you are running the command using .yaml, it was not going. So now you could have still run the command this way without creating the folder, and it runs successfully.
Run from what? It will run from what?
Actually,
From what base?
Because at first you do not actually create.
Wait, you are saying that without the folder that we just wrote present, you run docker compose and these things are just being created?
I'm just asking, sir, because we tried running the command without.
I just said you should not add .yaml in it, but the folder itself must be present. It,
Okay.
it is it is
Alright,
it is from the folder. It is from the file that we have just created, right? It is from the file
yes, sir.
that all these containers are being created. You see that these are the containers that we wrote in the file, right?
Yes, sir.
If we do not write and precise these containers in the file, what will happen? It will not run. Okay, so
Okay.
it
Yes,
is
sir.
it is it is now running. So we can write now our Docker ps hyphen a to get our Docker containers. So these are all our Docker containers that we have just created using our Docker Compose. Okay, and now take a look at the Docker containers very well. You discover that the containers are interlinked. When you look at the containers, you see that the containers are interlinked. Look at the containers here. This port is binding to this one, this port is binding to this one. So the containers are passing information in an interconnected manner. All right, this one is taking information passing through this port, and its port is the normal TCP port that we all know, right? You look at this one here, linking this one to this one is a different thing altogether. Okay, come up here, look at this one, linking this one to this one. It's a different linkage altogether. If you want to really see the real links, how they are, or you want to inspect everything about every container, run docker inspect. Okay, if they ever ask you anywhere that what if I want to see everything that is happening in my container, run docker inspect. Okay, when you run docker inspect and they give you a container ID or your container name, Docker is going to inspect everything that is happening within that container. Okay, look at what Docker is giving to us. Docker is giving us everything that is happening in the container. From here, you are able to trace every problem that is occurring within the container. Okay, so you see the status is the container is running, status running true. You want to see anything that is happening. This is the overlay network. We'll come to different types of network, Docker networks, and then the container port. This is the container port. So when you run inspect, you see the container port that the container is running. We are more interested in checking for the links. We want to know the container links. The links should be under networking. Okay, look at something, links, right? These are all those links that we prescribed while creating the container. Okay, these are the various links that we actually prescribed. You see all the links there, and you can, from anything you can check anything. So if they ever ask you there is a problem with a container, how can I see what the problem is? How can I know the problem in that particular container? You tell the person that run the command docker inspect. If you run the command docker inspect and they give the container ID, you will get every information with respect to that particular container. All right. So this is our CI/CD. This is our LAMP architecture. Let's see whether the container actually is running. You said our Tomcat is removing at what port? We did put our Tomcat at what port? At port 6060. So we try and see whether we can have Tomcat running at port 6060. Because as I did say, when you finish anything without testing and seeing that it is working, you have done nothing. Without testing and seeing that that thing is working, if we have just created, we say, yeah, the thing has run, yay, it has run, that's good, and then you cancel, you delete everything that it has run successfully, like Kiba said that he tested and his Nginx was, he said Nginx is up and running, so there is no more problem. It is up and running. You should taste it. Your food is already ready. Taste it before serving it to others.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So here we we then run local host localhost 6060. Our idea is getting into Tomcat. This is a time in production where everybody always holds a breath with the key, with the command walk. When you have written more than 2,000 lines of code and then you are running and deploying and executing, when you run that deploy command, you are like holding your breath. Will it work? And finally, we can see Tomcat is successfully installed. Congratulations. When they tell you congratulations like this, it's because they know that for you to install Tomcat and see it running like this, you must have read a lot of commands. Okay, so please, this is how you use Docker Compose. We can also still use Docker Compose in setting up our CI/CD environment. We can use Docker Compose. In fact, we will be using the Docker Compose. So I would not like to be wasting a lot of time doing different examples when in reality all you are going to be working with will be Docker Compose. Okay, so what I want from you is go through this video and then make your notes about what Docker Compose is, everything about Docker file. You are going to have so many of these files when we will do so many different environments, because we are going to be using YAML in Docker, YAML in Kubernetes, YAML in nearly everything. We are going to be using YAML. So you don't know the difference between YAML in Docker, YAML in Dockerfile, YAML in Docker Compose, YAML in maybe Ansible. To know which one is which, you should be able to make your note and differentiate which is which from which. Okay. Any question? Yes, Mr. Kiba.
Yes, my question really goes back to when you were composing the Docker Composer. That is, your client was very small. I could not really see the inputs that what you were typing. But however, when I watch the video again, I will really learn more.
My screen was small.
Yes, so when we were filling those the link, when we started from the origin, like
And why did you
we started from
why did you not tell me to increase it? Here, is that?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Why did you not tell me to increase it? These guys, it's just a simple question. I just asked a simple question and just complain that the screen is too far. Let me increase it.
Okay, so I don't want it to interrupt in a session like this.
No, it is for you. The session is for you. And if you are facing difficulties, you should make some inquiries. The session is for you. I could have increased it like this, and then is it okay now?
Very, very okay, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
Because the lines, as you see, the lines matter and the spelling also matters.
The spellings are key. The indentation, the highest thing you should never forget is indentation. Indentation is key. Indentation is key. And then the idea behind indentation. Do you know the idea behind indentation? I try to explain it. When any block is beginning from the line, then that block is the parent block. Anything that will come under that block should be indented inside. And inside an indented block, there can be an indentation too. You see that services is a parent. MyDB is the container that is under this service. And under MyDB, we have an image which is under MyDB. Now, image and environment are the same thing. That means this image and this environment has the same power. Okay, because this image has a MySQL database, and that MySQL database has an environment which must be passed at the image level. That's why the image and the environment has the same power. And then the database credentials are under the environment. This shows that these credentials are under this environment. So that is the logic behind indentation. Indentation takes effect with parent and child block. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes, Declan.
So just for double verification, the version about the version, I just want to have another clue about that version
Yes. The
because the different one came when you were trying to
no,
compose.
no, this is not the Docker Compose version, please. This is not the Docker Compose version. Okay? This one is not
Okay.
the Docker Compose version, please. The version at this level gives, that is, it gives you the version of the particular YAML file that you are using, not that of the Docker Compose.
Okay.
Yes, it is not. It is not the version of the Docker Compose installed inside your system. No.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Yes. Any other question? Yes, Mr. Kiba.
Yes, Jenkins is not here, sir. Is this just an example, or it's a complete flash structure?
What have we created?
We have created a database and our two web servers, sir.
This is a
Plus
lamb.
the
It's a lamb. It's a lamb structure.
This is
It's a
an
lamb.
example of a LAMP structure, not a CI/CD structure.
okay, okay, boss. Okay, sir.
So that is why I'm saying that you are the ones now to go and write the YAML file for the CI/CD structure.
CICD.
Yes, I have the YAML
Okay,
file here. I don't know whether I should give you or I should allow you to go and write it and fill before giving you. Here is a YAML file. If you are strong to do screen capture, you must be able to have captured it. Okay, yeah, here is a YAML file for CI/CD. If you are strong to do a script capture, I'm sure you'll get it. So that is your work will be to go and write the YAML file for CI/CD and execute it and let it work. Okay. Tomorrow we are going to do Docker volumes and mounting different types of volumes. Okay.
after tomorrow. After tomorrow.
After tomorrow, I mean to say. So you do your assignments, you try them, and go beyond the lesson. Always go beyond the lesson limit. Don't remain yourself within the classroom lectures. Go beyond. I want that we should be coming in class like this while somebody is saying that I saw somebody saying in YouTube that this can happen. I saw somewhere that this can happen. You might bring something that I've never known. Don't you know that it is going to help me too that much? Don't be those type of students that the teacher is looked upon like the king. In IT, there is no king. I hope you know that. In IT, there is no king. You know your own in your own way. I know my own in my own way. I can teach you and you know more than me based on how often you practice. Something that I knew when I was still small, or when I was still just learning, I have grown to be doing only that particular thing. You might be doing your research and then you go and see a better way of doing it. Come back to me and say, sir, I saw it this way, and it was faster. Boom, I learned. You get it? So push yourself towards the limits of class. Don't remain within the limits of class, and know that there is no one way of doing anything. There are 100 different ways. That's why somebody is good in IT more than another. Somebody will be taking direct in programming. They will tell you that your code is having too many lines. Can you not screenshot it to have very little lines? There's a way by which you can write that logic in 2 lines, and you have written it in 5 lines. Can you not cut those extra 3 lines? Because for each line, that's how the processor works. So when they are testing code quality, they are testing this code that you have written like this. It could be written in 2 lines, but you are writing it in 6 lines. There's a problem with the code. That's why they talk about code smells and code quality and everything like that. So with you doing constant research, for me, my capacity of doing research might already be limited due to the fact that I am already in service. So but you have the time to do all this research. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Any other question? If none, then I leave you guys to go and practice. And when you finish your system, it is always good to do cleanup, right? It's always good to do cleanup. How do I clean up all these things? I first like to run my docker ps-a to have all my docker IDs, and then I run my docker rm-f. I copy all of them now. This one did not copy. Okay, and then this final one. Okay, all of it now can run. First one is removed, second one is removed. Under removal, all of them have been eliminated. I advise to always remove from the docker id. Don't run this command like this, docker rm-f like that, and then docker ps-aq. Who knows what this command does? Who knows what this command does?
To terminate all the running containers at
It
once.
would,
Running and stop containers.
yeah, it will terminate every container that is running in your system. Even if you have a Kubernetes container, even if you have your own Docker container, it will terminate everything. So don't use this command, please. Don't use this command, okay? It's a command never to use. So I advise you terminate that, like I am terminating. Except that you just already want to destroy the whole system. That's when you can use that command, okay? All right, guys, see you guys on Friday, God willing. Yes, Mr. Kiba.
So you will not give us the command to run for the CI/CD the structure.
I have passed that YAML in the image. When you reach there, you pause the video.
Okay, sir.
do I have to say it like this? That is to give you extra work. I like giving you work. You don't want me to give you the file that you should just go and take the file and then you run. I don't want that. I want you to go and take time and write the file. That's why I don't want to give you the file to just go and run the file like that. Take time and write the file. Write the file. When you write the file and you indent it, write and indent, it will be very nice. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. All right. Please look at this lady like this.
Today, understanding and deriving meaningful insights.
Look at this lady. This lady is
From data is fast becoming
I
the most
advise all
needed
of
skill in the
you
business
to
world.
follow her.
The data science and machine
I do my fast research.
You may want to manage the runners.
I do my fast research using this lady, Nana. This lady is, I know my videos are going on YouTube, but I want to give a shout out to Nana. You are indeed the king in DevOps, and many are learning from her. And I want to advise you, please log onto her YouTube channel. She has very good, very good videos. The whole Kubernetes course, she has done it and has put it in YouTube, and she has a very good way of doing her presentation with good slides and animation. I mean, she's very good. She's very good. So find out Tech with Nana, and please walk alongside with her. Walk out alongside. I think she's Spanish. She's somewhere in Spain. Okay. All right. That is just one of your resources to work on. Okay. Any other question? All right. See you guys on Friday. Bye bye.